Hello, this is Andrew from PayPal again, and today I'm going to show you how to integrate PayPal into a merchant site in the mark fashion, which is from a payment page, kind of like where you would collect a credit card. We're going to use the newest PayPal products, which include the checkout JavaScript as well as the PayPal payment REST APIs. And we're also going to do this as a client-side integration, which means that most of the APIs will be coming from the JavaScript and not the server. So you probably should have already watched the Express Checkout shortcut video and integrated the PayPal button on the cart page. If you haven't done that, there should be a link that pops up here in the top right, and you can take a look at that video. All right, so let's take a look at the current merchant site on the payment page. So typically you have your shopping cart, and now when we click the checkout button, normally that comes to a payment page where the user would put in their shipping address, billing address, stuff like that, and then eventually select a payment method. So typically merchants, this could be set up any sort of fashion on the merchant's website. For this example, I'm just using radio buttons to be able to select different payment methods. So merchants may have a ton of different payment methods here, but for this example, we just have a credit card. So for our integration, we're just going to add a PayPal radio button, and then when that is selected, we are going to render the PayPal button here instead of the credit card page, or the credit card form. All right, so what a user would typically do, fill in their credit card number, fill out the form, click continue, and that would go to a confirmation page, which would say, here's the shipping information, here's the payment method you selected, are you sure you want to continue? And then they would, push another button there, and it would actually execute the payment. So that's the typical setup that you would see, and what we are trying to accomplish in the PayPal way in this video. So now I'm going to show you how to integrate in this fashion. All right, so first things first is I'm going to go get the documentation. So if we go to developer.paypal.com, express checkout, and then I like to go to the interactive demo, and I'm just going to take this PayPal code. All right. So now let's take a look at the code for this payment page. All right, so the first thing we need to do is add another radio button for PayPal. So I've already done this for us. Just going to uncomment that. So this is all it's going to do is add, radio button for PayPal. So if we refresh, we'll see a PayPal radio button. So then if we take a look at this little script down here, it's just looking for a payment method or a ID or a name of payment method, and then it's adding an on-change event handler. So when you change any radio buttons, do this. So if it's a credit card, then show the credit card form and hide everything else. And then I'm just going to add this little piece that says if it's the PayPal payment method, then show the PayPal button, and if not, and disable the continue button, and if not, show the PayPal, hide the PayPal button container. So if we look for the PayPal button container, you'll see that I already have a div with an ID here. So we want to use the PayPal JavaScript to target that div ID. So I'm just going to paste in what I copied from the documentation and format it a bit. All right, so first off, I'm going to change my ID to my div ID here, which is PayPal-button. So PayPal-button, we'll remove the container. All right, so I want my environment to be sandbox. Once again, you need a PayPal REST application client ID in order to do a client-side integration, REST integration. So if you don't have this, I have a video that documents how to do this, and you should see the link in the top right corner right now. So I'm just going to grab my REST application, and I'm just doing sandbox, so I don't need a production. I'm going to remove this for now since we don't need it. All right, then once again, the payment callback needs to return a payment ID or a payment token, and we are going to use the REST APIs in order to create our payment token, and we do have this nice little helper methods inside the actions object, where I'm just going to execute payment or actions.payment.create, and that's going to execute the payment create REST API for us. Now I'm going to send in an amount and a currency. And then in the unauthorized callback, once again, this is called when the user clicks continue from PayPal. So here I just want to redirect to my confirmation page. So I'm going to return actions.redirect. Once again, you might be asking yourself, well, where's it going to redirect to? And that is wherever you point it in the payment create API call. So I'm going to give it the redirect URLs that I want. Here. All right, so now in the unauthorized callback, it's actually going to redirect here to the return URL. And then I want to add two more things, which is an on cancel and an on error callback. So on cancel, so if the user closes the PayPal window, I want to do an actions.redirect again, which will automatically redirect you to the cancel URL. And then I added an on error, which is just going to alert an error if there's an error anywhere in the callbacks or in the PayPal processing. All right, well, now I'm going to go ahead and save that. So now when a user clicks our PayPal button, it's going to launch the flow in the modal. The user clicks continue, it's going to redirect to the return URL, which is our confirmation page, and we're going to display the information. Once again, if we take a look at what happens when we display our confirmation page real quick, it will execute the payment get API call, which it's going to need the payment ID, which is returned on the URL when it comes back from PayPal. And then, so we're going to get the payment information from PayPal, and then we are going to pass an object to our view with all the good information from PayPal, which includes like the shipping information, the account information, the order information. We're just going to display that and say, do you want to process? And then finally, when they click continue on that page, we're actually going to execute the payment. Before we actually execute the payment, we are going to get the total from your server for the cart, and we're going to validate that amount. Since we're using a client-side integration, it is possible to change those JavaScript variables before it's actually sent to PayPal. So you'll definitely want to validate that the amounts on your server from the cart are equal to what PayPal received, which I'm just doing that here. You would do a database lookup and then execute our payment get request, and then take a look at the amount total. And if it's not equal to what's on your server, you can just throw some sort of an error and handle it there. And then the only thing that the execute payment API from PayPal needs is the pay ID, which is returned in the body, as well as the payer ID, which is, or the pay ID and the payer ID, which is returned on the URL from the redirect. And then I'm just going to display my done page with some information about the transaction. All right, so now let's take a look how that looks on our page now. So here's our payment page. When I refresh, you'll see I have a PayPal button. When I click that, you'll see that all I'm doing is rendering the PayPal button. So now when I click the PayPal button, you'll see our nice little pop-up here. And I'm going to log in with my user. And then click continue. And at this point, the unauthorized callback is going to be executed. And I'm just going to redirect to the confirmation page. All right, so you'll see once again when we redirect to the confirmation page, you'll see the pay ID on the URL as well as the payer ID. Both of those will be needed to execute the payment. And then at the bottom, we are just going to place an order, which goes through that order processing flow that we just talked about and outputs our transaction. If I click place order here, and you will see a transaction ID. That's how we know that the actual transaction was completed. And a little bit more information on the order that we just created. All right, and that is it for this demonstration video. Please be on the lookout for new videos coming shortly. Thank you.